This page is the cover of 64 magazine, issue 34, priced at £3.95. It's promoting itself as the UK's fastest growing console magazine. The big draws this month are the reviews, with Donkey Kong 64 taking centre stage, promising the ride of your life. They've also got full reviews for Rainbow Six, which they cheekily call a hard-ass game, despite its name, plus Armorines and WWF WrestleMania 2000. There's also a free solution guide for Jet Force Gemini, and a feature on Xena, Warrior Princess. Looks like they also touch upon Ready to Rumble, Chef's Love Shack, and Destruction Derby inside. This page is a cracking advert for Earthworm Jim 3D, promising you can whip him out and impress your mates. It shows old Jim looking rather excited for his third coming on the N64. Yeah, that one came out around the turn of the millennium. This page is the contents page, showing you what's inside this issue. It highlights reviews for big games like Donkey Kong 64, Rainbow Six, WWF WrestleMania 2000, and Ready to Rumble. There's also a look at Rocket, Robot on Wheels, Armorines, Lego Racers, and Smash Brothers, along with other games and regular features. This page dives into the upcoming flight simulator, Harrier 2001. It shows off how the game's progressed since its showing at E3, highlighting improved graphics with more detailed models for the aircraft, environments and buildings, noting they look like they'd fit on a PC sim. The article mentions a multiplayer mode for head-to-head battles, though its size was undecided at the time. The storyline involves taking on a terrorist group, called the Brotherhood, across the Comoros Islands as US Marine Jake Cross. Screenshots show the Harrier in action, including taking off from a carrier, dogfighting, attacking ground targets, and a detailed cockpit view with a working HUD. There's also a fantastic shot, showing the Harrier surrounded by its impressive arsenal, which apparently boasts over 50 weapon types based on real-life hardware, from air-to-air missiles to bombs and cannon. They even mention the vertical takeoff and landing is a key feature. The piece also throws in a mention of Paradigm's previous flight game, Aero Fighters Assault, suggesting this one is much better. They were looking forward to reviewing it in the next issue. Sadly, despite the promising look here and the preview, Harrier 2001 never actually saw release on the Nintendo 64. A real shame, as it looked like it could have been a cracking sim on the system. This page takes a look at Army Men, Sarge's Heroes, the first entry in the series for the N64 console. This game brings those little plastic soldiers you used to mess about with to life in a third-person shooter format, putting you in control of Sarge of the Green Army against the dastardly Tan forces. The game cleverly mixes combat on the soldier's scale with interactions with the larger real world, where things like magnifying glasses become formidable weapons. You'll be able to perform all sorts of actions like running, jumping and even crawling, and the preview mentions a huge range of weapons at your disposal. Beyond the main story, there's also a 4-player deathmatch mode. Published and developed by 3Do, the game was set for release in the UK on the 26th of January 2000, and the magazine promised a full review shortly after. You can see some screenshots showing the gameplay and the sniper scope view. There's also a large advert for Ericsson mobile phones, taking up a significant portion of the page, but that's not related to the N64 side of things. This page gives us a preview of Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. It's all about those classic scaled-down toy cars coming to life on the N64. The game features tracks based on the iconic plastic sets many of us messed about with as kids, complete with ramps, jumps, corkscrews and loop-the-loops. Stunts like spins and backflips are key to earning extra points, and you can even use nitrous oxide for speed boosts. The game boasts over 40 Hot Wheels cars, bringing a good selection of those familiar models into the racing world. The preview mentions it has a multiplayer mode, though it notes that it's limited to 2 players, which is a bit of a shame when you think about the N64's 4-player potential compared to titles like Mario Kart 64. It was published by EA, and developed by Stormfront Studios, and the page states it was out now in the UK at the time. The screenshots show various vibrant tracks, highlighting the emphasis on ramps and airtime, staying true to the Hot Wheels feel. This page features a preview of eSports Supercross 2000, a dirt biking simulation game that runs in high resolution with the expansion pack. It includes real Supercross stars and tracks based on real courses, alongside some custom E1s. You can race or take part in freestyle stunt events. The game allows for bike customization, which is highlighted as important. While it supports 2 players, the preview notes the demo suggested 4, which is a bit of a shame. Screenshots show racing action, bike customization menus, and freestyle events. The other half of the page is an advert for WWF WrestleMania 2000. It promotes the game as the best wrestling game to hit the N64 and highlights features like over 50 WWF superstars, a full creator wrestler mode, new match types, and improved graphics and entrances. It proudly displays high review scores and quotes. The N64 is facing scrutiny due to dropping sales figures, but the editor argues it's not a failure. With several successful titles, the console is expected to still deliver high-quality games, though releases might slow in 2000. Nintendo's next console, the Dolphin, will be revealed and launched in 2000, supporting online play but not DVD. News includes a new James Bond game, The World Is Not Enough, developed by Euro.com. The N64 price has been reduced for Christmas. Rare's Disney racing game, Mickey Speedway USA, is announced. Delays push back Ridge Racer 64 and Resident Evil 2 into 2000. The N64 DD disk drive, launched in Japan, but was a commercial failure. Nintendo and Rare won awards at the BAFTAs, with The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time and Rare recognized for their contributions. This page serves as the place to check for upcoming N64 game releases, listing titles expected over the next few months, and those with confirmed dates. There's also the latest rundown of the top 10 games currently in the charts. Additionally, there's a competition offering Worms, Armageddon goodies, including a can of worms and a tequila lolly, tied to answering a question about the game's developer, which is Team 17. The page features visuals from Resident Evil 2, showing Leon and some rather unsightly zombies, a fast-looking shot from Ridge Racer 64, the distinctive look of Perfect Dark, and Link from the Legend of Zelda series. This page features the magazine's letters section, When I'm 64, giving readers a chance to air their views on 64 games, console comparisons, and magazine content. The letters touch on the debate around graphics and game libraries compared to the Dreamcast and PlayStation, mentioning titles like Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong 64, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye, and classic arcade games. Readers also speculate on the future of the N64 facing competition from upcoming consoles, like the Dolphin, and PlayStation 2. There's also a prize package for the Star Letter winner, loaded with N64 peripherals. On the right is a full-page advert for Acclaim's game, Armorines, Project SW.ARM, depicting a space marine ready to tackle alien insectoid creatures, and noting its release date of the 17th of December, 1999. This page dives deep into the review of Rare's massive 3D adventure, Donkey Kong 64. Expectations were sky-high after Banjo-Kazooie, and while some initially thought it looked similar, the review quickly points out the sheer scale and ambition. The story sees the dastardly King Cruel kidnapping Donkey Kong's friends and stealing his golden bananas, setting up a huge quest across 8 themed levels. You'll need to rescue the other members of the Kong clan, each with their own unique abilities, and the game highlights that switching between these 5 playable characters is key, often done by jumping into tag barrels. The review touches on the game's depth, mentioning the loads of special moves, weapons, gadgets, puzzles, and bosses. A particularly interesting point highlighted is the inclusion of the original 1981 Donkey Kong arcade machine as a minigame, necessary to complete the game. Screenshots show off the different Kongs like Chunky using his pineapple bazooka, Diddy Kong, and Tiny Kong, along with gameplay elements like barrels, collectibles, and even a shot of Cranky Kong offering potions. The review notes, the visual style draws comparisons to Banjo-Kazooie and mentions the game's intro sequence. Overall, the page conveys that while there were early thoughts it might be too similar to Banjo, Donkey Kong 64 is an absolutely huge game, packed with content and a massive undertaking for players. This page continues the deep dive into Donkey Kong 64, highlighting more of its unique features and introducing the playable characters. It points out some quirky moments, like Donkey Kong turning into a rhino to smash things in the Get the Horn section. The review touches on the training levels and the essential mechanic of unlocking Donkey Kong's friends from cages scattered around the levels. Once freed, you switch between them using tag barrels, each character having distinct abilities needed to progress. It draws a comparison to Banjo-Kazooie, but notes improvements like the banana port system for fast travel. Details are given about specific character abilities and challenges, such as Tiny Kong's ability to shrink down, essential for accessing small areas, and her unique boss fight against a giant jack-in-the-box. The absolutely fabulous section covers the vast amount of collectibles, noting that each Kong collects color-specific items like bananas and includes searching for blueprints for K. Rules Engineer, Snide, to stop the villain's island-destroying weapon. Finally, it formally introduces Da Da DK Crew, the 5 playable characters. Donkey Kong, the leader, Diddy Kong, known for his jetpack, Lanky Kong, the stretchy orangutan, Tiny Kong, the small but capable female lead, and Chunky Kong, the powerful but dim-witted one. Screenshots throughout the page showcase these characters, various gameplay scenarios like the Beaver Brawls minigame, and locations like Cranky's Lab and Snide's HQ. This page continues the Donkey Kong 64 review, delving into more aspects of the massive adventure. It touches on the vast array of collectibles, and notes the graphics are a little more polished than previous rare titles like Banjo-Kazooie. The game is praised for its immense scale and enjoyable gameplay, though the review criticizes the multiplayer mode, finding it less impressive than others such as GoldenEye or Smash Bros., despite offering split-screen arena battles. It also mentions the requirement for the expansion pack, impacting some N64 owners. The review highlights the excellent single-player experience, and includes a second opinion reinforcing its quality. The ratings are very high across the board for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, culminating in an impressive 93% overall score. The page also lists Banjo-Kazooie and Rocket, Robot on Wheels as alternative titles. This page dives into the tense world of Rainbow Six on the N64. This isn't your typical run-and-gun shooter. It's all about tactical planning and leading a team of operatives. You don't just control one person, you command a whole squad, strategizing routes and actions before even starting the mission. It's a very different pace, demanding patience and smart thinking. The review highlights how the A reacts to sounds and sights, making for some genuinely jumpy moments. They even mention it's one of the few games that can make you leap out of your seat. The screenshots show the action from a first-person perspective, depicting tense room clearings and outdoor engagements. There's also a shot of the crucial planning screen, showing how you plot out your team's movements. It features a 2-player mode, where each player commands a 2-man team, requiring coordination and covering each other, much like the single player. While it might not be the deathmatch chows of something like GoldenEye, it offers a unique co-op experience. The game is described as an excellent port of the PC original, keeping the core tactical gameplay intact. It supports the controller pack for saving progress, and can accommodate up to 4 players in certain modes with the right equipment. It arrived priced at £44.99. Overall, the sentiment is clear. Rainbow Six is an excellent game that stands out on the N64. Rainbow Six offers a deep tactical experience on the N64, emphasizing strategic planning and stealth. While the AI can be unpredictable, they pose a significant challenge with their intelligence, sometimes spotting players even through cover. The game features diverse missions like Sun Devil, Lion's Den, and Deep Magic. Graphics are reasonable, with detailed sound design being a major strength, enhancing the atmosphere with realistic effects. The planning system allows control of multiple teams. Praised for its smart enemies, the game provides a faithful conversion of the PC version, making it ideal for tactical gamers over those seeking constant action. Difficulty increases, but earlier missions serve as good training. Overall, the game earns high marks for its rewarding complexity and engaging gameplay, scoring a 92%. This page dives into the world of Xena, Warrior Princess, the Talisman of Fate, a beat-em-up finally making its way to the N64. It describes Xena as a formidable fighter known for her incredible jumps and stunts. The game features a range of characters from the show, each with their unique fighting styles, weapons like chakrams and staffs, and mystical abilities, offering plenty of diversity in combat. The review highlights the 4-player mode, noting the fixed camera makes it easy to keep track of the action. It mentions the ability to use the environment, like jumping off walls. The reviewer points out that the N64 wasn't exactly flooded with great beat-em-ups before this, suggesting Xena fills a gap in the library. Despite a slight issue with character turning near walls, it's presented as a fun and engaging fighting game. This page continues a look at Xena, Warrior Princess, the Talisman of Fate, focusing on the distinct special attacks for each character, many pulled straight from the TV show. It highlights that you won't see these moves in your typical pub brawls. Screenshots show off various attacks, like Eola's summoning lightning, Velasca using evil wind, Xena's deadly breath of death, Ephanie's arrow formation, Gabby's energy balls, and Caesar's boulder commands. The review touches on the potential difficulties in the 4-player mode when switching targets, but notes that the action moves smoothly. It points out the cast is mostly female, which is seen as a positive for the fighting game genre at the time. The graphics are described as fast-moving in 3D, with well-recreated costumes, though the faces are a bit flat. The overall visual spectacle of lightning, fire, and energy attacks is praised despite minor details. The fighting sounds are impactful, and the voice acting captures the characters well. The game is considered a strong contender on the N64, even if it doesn't quite measure up to the top fighters on other consoles, but it's still setting a new standard for the system's fighting games. The second opinion views it as one of the better N64 fighters, highlighting the good 4-player mode but noting a lack of long-term challenge. The overall impression is positive, giving it an 85% rating, with the soundbite calling it the best fantasy fighter on the N64 so far. This page features a review of Destruction Derby 64. It dives straight into the game's premise, which, as the title suggests, is all about smashing cars. The main single-player mode is the World Championship, though the review finds it a bit too easy. The game offers two main challenges: a twist on racing where collisions are actively encouraged and rewarded with extra time, and arena-based demolition derbies where the last car standing wins. The multiplayer modes are highlighted, including deathmatch and bomb tag, supporting up to 4 players and keeping a decent pace in the arenas. There are screenshots showing the chow tick action in both race and arena modes, as well as a look at the car selection screen, featuring vehicles like an ambulance and a taxicab, which is noted as a particularly tough choice for winning points. The game is praised for being different, instantly playable, and having fun multiplayer options, although some modes and the overall difficulty are points of contention. It's presented as a unique addition to the N64's library. This page continues the Destruction Derby 64 review, delving into the game's visual presentation which, while having trackside detail, is noted as somewhat grainy. It highlights the main single-player issue being its lack of challenge, mentioning how quickly the championship can be completed, making it too easy for experienced players. The review concludes that while the game offers fun short-term crash and smash amusement, its limited longevity means it's likely to be a quick play before being moved on. The second opinion echoes this, calling it great fun if you enjoy a mindless crash 'em up. The page also includes the ratings for graphics, audio, gameplay, challenge, and the final overall score. There's also an advert for the Explorer 64, a cheat cartridge for the N64, priced at £24.99, which offers cheats like infinite ammo and maximum health, allowing players to unlock hidden game secrets and enhance their gameplay. This page features the in-depth review of WWF WrestleMania 2000. It covers how wrestling games have finally hit their stride, particularly with THQ acquiring the license and Aki Corporation, known for their excellent wrestling titles, handling the development. The review declares it's potentially the best wrestling game ever released, certainly on the N64. It praises the realism of the character movements, noting how each wrestler has their own distinct style and entrance, making it feel like watching the real thing. While the graphics might look a bit rough close up, and the sound is somewhat basic with muffled music and no commentary, these points are considered minor compared to the depth of gameplay and features. The game supports up to 4 players, requires the expansion pack, and is compatible with the Rumble pack. There's also a great feature called In Your House, allowing you to create your own pay-per-view events, choosing the name, location, and match card. The page is filled with screenshots showing various match types and wrestlers in action, including a tag match with Triple H, XPAC, Mankind, and Al Snow, a cage match featuring Triple H and Chris Jericho, women's wrestling, and Royal Rumble action. Developed by Aki for THQ, the game was released at £39.99. This page continues the look at WWF WrestleMania 2000, diving deeper into what makes it tick. It covers the impressive entrances for each wrestler, adding to that authentic feel. The game offers a solid range of modes like Exhibition for quick matches, King of the Ring tournaments, the Royal Rumble, and a full career mode where you take your chosen wrestler or tag team through the ranks, earning different belts depending on how well you perform. One of the standout features discussed is the Editor Wrestler mode, which gives you huge scope to create your own grapplers with custom moves and looks, expanding the roster well beyond the included 50+ stars. There's also a little section highlighting some of the key wrestlers in the game, like Stone Cold, Mankind, The Rock, and Triple H. The review gives ratings for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, leading to a cracking overall score of 93%. The final verdict is that it's potentially the best wrestling game out there, building on the strengths of previous Aki titles like WC, W/N, WO Revenge. The controls are also shown, with a clear diagram of the N64 pad layout. This page moves on to the arcade boxing world, taking a look at Ready to Rumble. This game was Midway's shot at the boxing genre, known for its larger-than-life characters and over-the-top style. The review discusses how the N64 version measures up, especially compared to its Dreamcast sibling. You see screenshots showing the action in the ring with various fighters, as well as glimpses of the training modes where you build up your boxer's abilities. The training involves rhythmic button presses, a bit like a dance game. There are profiles for some of the colorful contenders you'll face or play as, including the agile Selena Strike, the tough Boris, the bear Nokimoth, and the flashy angel Raging Rivera. The game offers a decent roster of different personalities and fighting styles. The main text delves into the gameplay, touching on the control scheme, which apparently uses quite a few buttons, and the general responsiveness of the fighters. It also mentions the game's unique, slightly irritating musical theme. The page includes the usual game info box covering player count and accessory support, like the expansion pack and rumble pack. Finally, there's a summary section highlighting the game's pros, like the range of boxes and a first-person camera mode, and cons, such as characters moving jerkily and too many buttons for the style of game. Ready to Rumble certainly had a unique flavor compared to other fighting games on the console. This page continues the review of Ready to Rumbles on the N64. It gets right into the feel of the game, noting that while it aims for an arcade style, the response times for actions can feel a bit slow, which isn't ideal for a fast-paced fighter. Graphically, it mentions the game looks pretty decent on the system, with the boxes having good detail and variety, though they might move a little stiffly at times. There's a look at the different characters, highlighting that some feel much stronger than others, leading to potentially unbalanced matches. The review clarifies that this isn't a simulation game like Knockout Kings, which it's naturally compared to, but rather a different take on the boxing genre. It touches on the controls, showing the N64 pad layout, and mentions the training sections which rely on rhythmic button presses. The different aspects of the game are rated, covering graphics, audio, gameplay and challenge. The overall score comes in at a solid 75%. A second opinion offers a contrasting view, praising it as fast and fun arcade action, despite its flaws. The final soundbite simply states, it's perhaps not the best boxing game available on the N64. You can also see various screenshots showing the characters trading blows in the ring and the game's menus. This page dives into the WCW Mayhem review. It looks like Electronic Arts took a swing at wrestling games here. The main text points out the unique aspects, like being able to fight outside the ring and exploring backstage areas, which was a pretty fresh idea at the time. However, it sounds like the execution wasn't quite there, mentioning awkward wrestler movement and controls. There's a big roster available, though you have to work to unlock some of the wrestlers. The review highlights the repetitive commentary and unimpressive entrances. Screenshots scattered throughout show various matchups like Big Sexy vs Disco Mysterio Jr. vs Kidman, Big Papa Pump vs The Crippler, and the Hitman vs Buff, giving a look at the in-ring action and the backstage brawls. Ratings cover graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, but the overall feeling is clearly captured by the final score of 64%. There's a list of alternative wrestling games available on the N64, including the highly regarded WCW/NWO Revenge and WWF WrestleMania 2000, giving context to where Mayhem sits in the lineup. A second opinion suggests it looks better than WWF WrestleMania 2000 graphically, but just doesn't play anywhere near as well, feeling rushed. The $64,000 question sidebar sums up the pros and cons, noting the variety of moves and ideas, but ultimately stating it's not much fun to play. There's also a look at the N64 controller layout for the game. This page reviews Paperboy on the N64, taking the classic arcade concept into 3D. It highlights the distinctive, somewhat strange graphical style with characters having spindly limbs and wacky houses. Screenshots show gameplay moments including hitting mailboxes, delivering papers, and interacting with characters and environments like the Tesla Town level. The review discusses the gameplay changes from the original, noting the inclusion of a time limit and the ability to turn around, which deviates from the arcade challenge. It mentions power-ups and bosses have been added, which the writer feels are unnecessary. The 9 info provides the standard game details like publisher, Midway, and developer, High Voltage. Commentary notes the game is easy, perhaps too easy, despite some mechanics like the easiest difficulty not allowing backtracking. There's a sexual wheeling aside, discussing character choice, and a look at alternative driving/racing games. The review ultimately finds the transition to 3D unsuccessful, deeming it a significant step down from the original. The $64,000 question sidebar lists points like ease of play, but criticizes the slow pace, camera, visuals, and overall boredom. Ratings are given for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, leading to an overall score of 41%. A second opinion reinforces the idea that the move to 3D ruined the challenging gameplay of the original. The soundbite calls it a travesty of an update. Road Rash 64 is a paradoxical game. While graphically weak, with blurry visuals and poor animation, it's described as fabulously good fun. The gameplay, a chaotic mix of motorcycle racing and combat using blunt weapons, is the game's strength. Players race, battle rivals, and earn cash to upgrade their bikes. Despite visual flaws, the game's fast pace and smooth gameplay are praised. Knocking off opponents, getting busted by the police, and using the 4-player split-screen mode add to the excitement. The review highlights the game's addictive nature, particularly in multiplayer. Road Rash 64 receives a solid 79% rating, heavily influenced by its enjoyable gameplay, even though its graphics fall short. This page features a review for Rocket, Robot on Wheels. It's a 3D platformer developed by Sucker Punch and published by Ubisoft. The game is set in Whoopie World, a newly built amusement park, where Rocket has to save the park's mascot, Whoopie the Walrus, from the villain Jojo. The review highlights the game's outstanding physics engine, stating that objects behave realistically, allowing for creative solutions like stacking boxes or rolling items. This realism is said to make the gameplay stand out. The variety of puzzles is also praised, ranging from skill-based challenges to mental ones, including painting sheep, to make them behave oddly. Responsive controls and a good learning curve are noted as positives. The game does have a slight drawback mentioned, with some puzzles potentially being frustrating. Screenshots on the page show different areas of the park, including the unique entrance through a giant walrus mouth, a puzzle involving colored sheep, and various gameplay scenarios demonstrating Rocket's abilities like using a tractor beam. The game is described as a fantastic title that offers many hours of fun due to its focus on gameplay and its excellent physics. This page gives us the full review for Rocket, Robot on Wheels, the 3D platformer from Sucker Punch and Ubisoft. The review really praises the game's physics engine, noting how objects react realistically, which is used for clever puzzles and challenges, like stacking things or rolling them about. It's highlighted that the game offers a good mix of puzzles, not just jumping but also mental ones, and the controls are responsive with a decent difficulty curve. The screenshots show Rocket in action, demonstrating various abilities and the game's distinct visual style, including the unique method of entering different park areas and interacting with the environment. The slamming feature, allowing Rocket to use his tractor beam to deal with enemies, is also shown. There's a look at the game's controls, a nod to alternative platformers like Banjo-Kazooie and Tonic Trouble, and the overall rating is a solid 91%, with specific ratings given for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge. There's also an advert for the Equalizer cheat cartridge, which was a popular accessory back then for getting codes for games. South Park, Chef's Love Shack for the N64 is a party game hosted by Chef, featuring quiz rounds and minigames. Players, up to 4, choose from Stan, Kyle, Cartman and Kenny. The game includes trivia questions on various topics, often strange or offensive. Minigames like Donkey Kitty and Asses in Space are present, alongside the Under Pressure round. The review suggests the game shines in a group setting due to its South Park humor and sound bites. While some minigames are fun, others are less engaging, leading to potential repetitiveness. Published by Acclaim, it's best enjoyed by those who appreciate the show's style. This page continues the look at South Park, Chef's Love Shack, showing some cracking screenshots of the minigames. It delves into the game's structure, confirming it's built around quiz rounds and those quirky minigames, perfect for a group laugh, though they can get a bit samey after a while. You've got the essential N64 controller layout detailing the game's straightforward controls, and a mention of alternatives like the mighty Mario Party and Bust-A-Move 3DX, both solid party game choices in their own right. The page also provides a breakdown of ratings for different aspects like graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, culminating in an overall score of 69%. There's even a little soundbite, suggesting it's better for renting for a party. Finally, a second opinion offers a more positive take, praising it as a proper South Park game with excellent minigames, although noting some humor is very US-centric. It seems opinions were a bit split on this one, back in the day. NFL Quarterback Club 2000 for the N64 is reviewed as a significant upgrade, boasting improved graphics and gameplay, potentially making it the definitive football sim on the platform. The game features a deep control system, custom playbooks, and historical simulations. Its smooth framerate, detailed player animations, and realistic lighting are particularly praised. Screenshots showcase gameplay and highlight features such as custom cameras and player creation, including a focus on the Green Bay Packers' Brett Favre. Despite repetitive commentary and borders, the game's superb graphics, ease of play, and comprehensive stats earned a 90% rating, making it highly recommended, especially as Madden wasn't released on the N64 in the UK. The game supports Controller Pack, Expansion Pack, and Rumble Pack. This page covers the review of LEGO Racers for the N64. It discusses how the game brings the building aspect of LEGO to the racing genre. A major focus is the ability to customize your own kart and driver, using different LEGO pieces, which is highlighted in the Mix and Match section and driver creation screenshots. The review notes the presence of power-ups and various track themes, comparing it to the popular Mario Kart formula, though it feels different due to the handling. Screenshots show racing gameplay on different tracks, including a pirate-themed level and one featuring large LEGO buildings, along with views of the kart and character customization screens. The control layout is shown for the N64 controller. The game is presented as fun for kids, perhaps not having the depth for older players in the long run. The overall rating given is 76%. This page covers the review of Armorines, Project Swarm, a first-person shooter from Acclaim Studios. The game throws you into a desperate fight against an alien invasion on a desolate, futuristic Earth. You're globe-trotting across varied environments from frozen wastes and jungles to volcanic areas and ruins, facing off against a relentless swarm of alien creatures. The review highlights the sheer variety of alien designs, describing them as everything from beetle-like beasts and mutated wasps, to scuttling crabs and giant spidery things, changing their appearance across the different levels. It mentions that the single-player campaign starts with simple tasks, but evolves into more complex missions. A significant part of the page is dedicated to the 4-player mode, titled, Die, Evil Friends. This mode is praised and compared favorably to Turok, Rage Wars for its dedicated deathmatch maps, array of weapons, and character choices, promising a blast. Other details covered include the game being a shoot-'em-up, supporting 14 players, expansion pack, and rumble pack. The pros and cons list notes its fast, violent action, varied levels, scary sound, and challenge, though it mentions the multiplayer isn't quite as strong as Rage Wars, and points out the return of the draw distance fogging seen in the Turok games. Screenshots showcase various alien enemies, the different environments, and the split-screen action in multiplayer. The game saves progress using the controller pack. This page continues the look at Armorines, Project Swarm, mentioning the game's characters are from an acclaimed comic book, which apparently explains the suits they wear. The review highlights the sound design, noting how distant clicks and shrieks combined with the soundtrack really add to the atmosphere. It describes Armorines as an old-school shooter, more in line with arcade titles like Mercs and Contra than the likes of GoldenEye or Turok 2 when it comes to level design, though it praises the 2-player cooperative mode. A second opinion confirms it's better executed than Turok 2, despite using the same engine, giving props to the atmosphere and blasting action. The game's overall rating is shown as 81%, with various other games listed as alternatives. A screenshot shows one of the game's alien creatures during combat. This page reviews Koei's spy action game, Winback, Covert Operations. It positions the game as a blend inspired by the likes of GoldenEye and Metal Gear Solid, bringing tactical espionage into the N64's library. The story centers on Jean-Luc Cougar, a top operative tasked with stopping a terrorist group called the Crying Lions who have taken control of a satellite. The review highlights the unique swing-out swing-back system where you use walls for cover and surprise attacks, and the hide-and-shoot mechanic, which sounds like the core of the game's tactical approach. It mentions mastering the controls takes time but is rewarding. The camera system is noted as being a bit awkward at times, and the action can slow down when things get busy. There's a training mode called Nice Trainers, which teaches you the essential moves like hugging walls, shooting from cover, and pistol whipping. The game supports up to 4 players, although the review notes it's primarily a single-player experience. Despite some flaws, Particularly the camera and repetitive mission structure, the shooting and targeting systems are praised as excellent, making it eminently playable. The game supports the expansion pack and rumble pack. This page carries the main review for Winback, Covert Operations. Following the game's introduction, it details the plot about stopping the Crying Lions and their satellite weapon. The review praises the tactical swing-out cover system and the ability to target enemies from hiding, stating the shooting is excellent and makes picking off foes very satisfying. It notes the camera can be awkward at times and the engine isn't quite built for fast-paced action, but highlights the core tactical espionage as eminently playable despite some repetition. The second opinion finds the game tough, attributing it partly to the camera and targeting, but ultimately calls it a tense and clever design. Winback scores an impressive 88% overall, with a soundbite calling it enormously addictive. The rest of the page is taken up by advertisements from Wickedware, listing a large selection of N64 hardware, games, accessories, and character merchandise including Pokémon and various Nintendo figures. This webpage is a cheat code compendium for N64 games. It highlights tips and tricks for several titles. Gauntlet Legends cheats unlock hidden characters and provide weapon and gameplay advice. Battletanks Global Assault secrets include accessing a custom gang and a secret level. Duke Nukem 0-hour cheats unlock characters and modes, and offer health tips. Army Men Sarge's Heroes boasts cheat codes for characters, weapons, invincibility, and level passwords. Hot Wheels cheats offer codes for unique car and race effects. The page includes screenshots and a controller diagram. A prominent advertisement promotes a phone line service for cheats on various platforms. Tartaf. This page is packed with even more cheat codes for loads of great N64 games. Following on from the last page, you've got codes here for classics like Body Harvest, Diddy Kong Racing, The Blistering F-Zero X, Banjo-Kazooie, Rogue Squadron, Super Mario 64, Turok 2, wrestling games like WCW vs NWO Revenge and WWF Warzone, the absolutely essential Zelda, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye, ISS 98, Lilac Wars and Mario Kart 64. The page also features adverts for the Explorer cheat cartridge, various places selling N64 consoles, games and imports, and phone lines offering cheats and other services. This page is all about the Score Zone, where players send in their best times and high scores for a whole bunch of N64 games. It's great to see people putting in the effort to top the leaderboards. They've got results here for loads of classics like The Legend of Zelda, Shadows of the Empire, GoldenEye, Yoshi's Story, Banjo-Kazooie, and racing games like F1 WGP, Beetle Adventure Racing, and Top Gear Rally. There are also scores for Scars, Wii Tricks, and Mario Party. The page highlights this month's Ultimate Player for their skills in GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie. It also gives clear instructions on how people can get their own scores featured and take their place on the virtual podium. You can see some small screenshots next to some of the game sections, showing off a bit of the action. This page continues the Score Zone rundown, featuring more top times and scores submitted by dedicated N64 players for a whole host of games. You'll find results here for racing titles like Micro Machines 64 Turbo, Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart 64, Wave Race, and Cruisin' USA, plus extreme sports in 1080 snowboarding. It also includes first-person shooters and action games such as Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Turok, Vigilante 8, Blast Corps, and Chameleon Twist, along with Extreme G and Tetrisphere, and even high scores for collecting stars and coins in the brilliant Super Mario 64. The Score Zone Challenge this month focuses on EA's boxing game, Knockout Kings, getting players to fight for the top rank. Plus, they're highlighting the Ultimate Player Award, given to the best Score Zone gamer each month, with a rather nice steering wheel prize up for grabs. This page features a deep dive into the brilliant Super Smash Bros., letting you settle those playground arguments about who would win in a fight between your favorite Nintendo icons. It highlights how the game is packed with secrets to find, including a special fighting stage once you've unlocked all the characters. The page also runs through the various battle arenas you'll fight on, describing their unique layouts and hazards, from Peach's floating castle to the molten acid pit of Planet Zebes. You get detailed profiles for a couple of the main fighters, Mario and Yoshi, going over their strengths, weaknesses, and of course a rundown of their essential moves to help you dominate the competition. There are plenty of screenshots showing off the action and character art, including Pikachu, Donkey Kong, Kirby, and Luigi, making it a must-read for anyone looking to master this fantastic N64 brawler. This review explores several classic Super Smash Bros. Fighters. Donkey Kong is a powerhouse with devastating close-range attacks, though his size and jumping are weaknesses. Kirby, despite his fragility, is surprisingly effective due to his speed and multi-jump ability, especially the stone attack. Link's strength lies in his sword attacks and throws, though his jumps are weak, and missing special attacks leaves him vulnerable. Fox McCloud excels in speed and dashing, making him evasive, but his normal attacks are weaker, and his reflector is tricky. The page also mentions unlocking a sound test mode through bonus levels, complemented by screenshots of these fighters in action. The next page delves into more of the Super Smash Bros. Lineup. Samus Aran is covered, noted as a tough bounty hunter with a powerful flamethrower and grappling beam, though her aerial attacks and bomb can be tricky to use effectively. Reticale. Luigi is also featured, described as being often overlooked compared to Mario, but surprisingly powerful with moves that hit harder and further, including powered-up fiery attacks. His main drawback is losing speed for strength, and his standard moves being very similar to his brothers. Pikachu is up next, highlighting the character's surprising aggression despite being cute. Its speed and small size are advantages, as are the crawling electric attacks, though its low defense makes it susceptible to damage, and its basic attacks aren't overly strong. Finally, Nelnus from Earthbound is introduced, described as a smart child genius. His psychic jump makes him hard to hit, and his PK shield can absorb projectiles to heal, but he's considered the hardest character to master, with unpredictable moves and slower speed. The page also details how to unlock hidden fighters like Luigi, Jigglypuff, Captain Falcon, and Berniness by completing specific challenges in the game, such as clearing modes under certain conditions, or beating the Master Hand. Screenshots show these fighters in action during battles on various stages. This page continues the look at the Super Smash Bros. Roster. Warrington Dorcas. It focuses on Captain Falcon, the champion from the F-Zero races who's looking for a new challenge. His profile highlights his incredible speed, mirroring his racing prowess, which is a big advantage, along with the devastating Falcon Punch when it connects. However, the page points out that his attacks are primarily close range, making him vulnerable if caught off guard or cornered. Screenshots show him in battle with damage percentages indicated. Move lists covering his standing, jumping, special attacks, and throws are included. Next up is Jigglypuff, another popular Pokémon. Its profile notes its desire for attention and surprising aggression despite the cute appearance. Advantages include its speed and small size making it hard to hit, and useful moves like Karaoke which puts opponents to sleep, and Jigglypunch. It can also inflate for multiple jumps, helping with recovery. The disadvantages mentioned are its very low defense, lack of long-range options, and the nap time move being difficult to land effectively. Screenshots display Jigglypuff in fights showing damage levels. Move lists for standing, jumping, special attacks, and throws are detailed. The magazine issue number is noted as 34 from 1999. There's also an advertisement for a service providing Nintendo 64 cheats and tips via a premium rate phone line. This page showcases some cracking special offers on strategy guides for top Nintendo 64 games. You can get discount deals on bestsellers like Banjo-Kazooie, Zelda 64, Lilat Wars, Turok 2, and the general Nintendo 64 Secrets series, with a great offer to buy 3 books for a tenner, or pick up the Nintendo 64 Gold Guide. This page is all about getting your hands on 64 magazine. It offers subscriptions with a decent saving, and even a free memory card with the annual deal, plus you can order back issues. This page introduces the Nindex, which is the magazine's complete guide to every N64 game they've ever reviewed. It provides a quick reference for comparing different games. There's also a key explaining the symbols used in the list, like how many players a game supports and which packs it uses. Handy stuff for knowing what you need to get the most out of a game. You can see their current top 10 N64 games as well, with GoldenEye still sitting firmly at the top, followed by Zelda and ISS-98. Essential reading if you're looking to pick up a new N64 classic, or see how your favorites stack up. This page continues the Nindex, listing a whole load more N64 games with their original review scores and issue numbers, spanning across various genres. You can see their top picks for specific genres here too, like the best shoot-'em-ups, fighting games, adventure titles, and platformers. GoldenEye still rules the roost in the shoot-'em-ups, while Smash Bros is top of the pile for fighting. Zelda, Ocarina of Time naturally dominates adventure, and Rayman 2 leads the platformers. There's also a section called Test of Time, where they revisit games from earlier issues to see how they hold up. This time they're looking at Duke Nukem 0 Hour, which they still reckon is a very playable bit of carnage. Then there's Rampage Universal Tour, which didn't fare too well on review, and still gets panned here. Finally, Star Wars Episode I Racer is revisited, and while it got a high score originally, they feel it hasn't stood up to repeated play. Rounding off the page is Best of the Bits, recommending essential accessories for your N64. They highlight the official Nintendo controller as the best, a Grand Prix racing wheel, the useful 4MB memory card for saving game data, and the Ultra Racer 64 mini steering wheel, all good kit for enhancing the gaming experience. This page details N64 game reviews, scores and comments, alongside the magazine's top picks in various genres. Featured are the best racing games, F-Zero X Roadsters, sports games, IS-98, Michael Owen's WLS2K, party/puzzle games, Buster Move 2, Puyo Puyo Sun 64, and strategy/simulation games, Command & Conquer, Premier Manager 64. The page also showcases anticipated upcoming titles in 64 Mag's Most Wanted, including Perfect Dark, Zelda Gaiden, Majora's Mask, Dragon Sword, Mace, The Dark Age, ISS Millennium, ISS 2000, and Turok 3, Oblivion. Additionally, the page covers the N64 expansion pack, emphasizing its role in enhancing gameplay, and includes a coming soon section listing anticipated releases. This page gives us a look ahead to the next issue, highlighting South Park Rally as a featured game. There's a screenshot showing the racing action with Cartman in the driver's seat, promising some Chowtic fun with the South Park characters. It also teases other games coming in the next issue, listing N64 titles such as Vigilante 8, Second Offense, Carmageddon, and ISS Millennium, alongside some notable mentions like StarCraft and Daikatana, although neither of those famously ever saw a release on the N64. This issue itself is number 35, and was set to hit the shelves right at the end of December, ready for the new millennium. There's also a substantial advert for the Special Reserve mail-order service, showcasing a wide range of N64 games and peripherals available to order, featuring titles like Jet Force Gemini, Duke Nukem 0 Hour, Mario Golf, Turok 2, and Donkey Kong 64, as well as various controllers and memory pack options.